Hey, welcome. This is Follow Up Genius, and I'm Wesley here with Wendy, one of LinkU's client success managers.
Hi, thanks for having me.
And today we're going to be talking about holiday campaigns and the biggest mistakes that agents are making with those holiday campaigns and who they should be sending them to and maybe who they should not be sending them to. So this is going to be an episode you definitely want to watch, especially if you're thinking about sending out any kind of holiday greeting, any kind of holiday message, and you're not going to want to miss it.
Welcome to the Follow Up Genius Show, a show dedicated to helping real estate agents find their fortune in follow-up by creating stronger relationships, generating more referrals, and converting more leads. Hosted by Wesley Rocha, founder and CEO of LinkU, and Stephen Groders, real estate entrepreneur and high-performance coach. Follow us at followupgenius.net.
Okay, so Wendy, I know that a lot of people right now, they start thinking around the holidays, oh my goodness, I should send something out to my list, maybe an email, text something. I got to send something out. So they end up, I guess, calling you, right?
Yeah, and the thing is that they want to send out to their entire database. They want to send out to a bigger list, and something that, can sound very enticing. It can sound very, fun to do, but it's something that we really, at the end of the day, don't recommend.
Okay, and probably for a lot of different reasons, I'd imagine, right?
Yeah.
So they call you in, and because on the LinkU platform, it's really designed for follow-up. It's not per se designed for like mass messages. So I guess they get in there, they see there's some limitation to how many they can send at a time.
Right.
So they call and say, hey, I want to send more than this, and how do I do that? Maybe they want to send out Thanksgiving, or they want to send out maybe happy holidays or something like that, right? And they wanted to send it to everybody?
Yeah, it's looking like people are thinking of sending it to everyone on their database, and sometimes these lists, can go from 2,000 to 7,000 contacts. And again, it sounds good, but at the end of the day, like you said, our system is not intended for that necessarily, and it's just something that we don't recommend that they do.
Okay, so they call in, they want to send that. We have the limit, of course. And then we're talking about 7,000, 3,000 people, maybe like basically a mass text
Or email.
Or an email. Okay, so whatever it may be. And they basically, now from a text side, from my side, the way I see is a problem with that. If you want to send a text message to 1,000 or 500 or 7,000 people, that's going to be a little bit of an issue, because doing that, you're going to run into all issues with, I'm thinking like filtering, on email and things like that.
Yeah.
Now, if you're sending it out to that many people, I'm guessing those aren't past clients.
Right. Yeah. 7,000 contacts. I'm doubtful those are all past clients.
Right. Or SOI.
Right.
So really, you should be sending it to people that you have some kind of, I guess, connection or some pre-established relationship.
Yeah. That's what makes more sense in our eyes.
Right. So sending out a list to just random people, or not random, but maybe they're prospects or dead leads or something. From that standpoint, I wouldn't say really makes sense, because, if you send out, hey, happy holidays from my family to yours. And if I send that text message to, let's say, if I were to send that to not my clients, that would be normal, I guess. But if I were to send it out to, I guess, all the leads or people who had registered for something, but then kind of forgot about and never interacted after that, then that would be kind of weird, I would think.
Yeah, I think so. I think that it would be a little weird.
So, if I'm in there with my wife and kids and everything, they're gonna be thinking,
who is this guy?
Yeah, who is this guy? Do you know that, honey? Do you know this guy?
Yeah. How did you get my number?
who's LinkU, and who are these kids?
Yeah, I don't think it really makes sense at the end of the day. Yeah.
Right. So they end up probably disregarding it or something like that.
Yeah. Or even worse, they don't get it. They don't see it.
Right. Yeah, so they're thinking, look, I don't know you. Maybe you got the wrong number, or maybe it's just like, if they receive the message, they're not like, oh, dude, I don't know them, so they're gonna mark it as spam. They're gonna mark it, as a complaint. Yeah. Something like that.
Yeah, blacklist.
Right, and then that's where you run into some of the issues where your emails aren't being delivered. to the people you actually want to see them.
Exactly. In a future time, it'll be harder to get them.
Right. Or your text messages. Maybe they're not seen. So if you send out 5,000 messages, what ends up happening, just so people know, is essentially that you have a very high chance, especially on the type of feedback, responses, things like that, people trying to unsubscribe, that's going to basically signal to the telephone carrier, hey, this might be spam, and it's going to start blocking those messages. And that's also obviously going to happen on email as well.
Right.
So now your emails are going to the spam folder. So just as an example, everyone, I know you're thinking, yeah, but I wanted to send to everybody. Let me just kind of break that down real quick. Let's say you send to 1,000 people, but only really 50 of them are like your past clients or an SOI. Okay. If you send it to the full 1,000, what ends up happening is that email starts going out, or that text or whatever, and then the carriers start blocking it, or the email filters start blocking it. So by the time it gets to that 50 you really wanted to see your message, now a much smaller percentage of them are seeing your message or getting it, even though they were the most important people to receive it, based on the other 950 people results. So you'd actually have better response, better results if you had just sent it to the 50 people and not to the 1,000.
Right.
You actually probably do more damage than good. And then with the text messages, sending out thousands of messages or even hundreds, what's that going to do to the agent's phone?
Well, first of all, it'll probably freeze the phone. Beyond marking them as spam, it would definitely, cause some issues with the phone.
Right. So you definitely don't want that, because your phone's going to be bing, 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 right?
Yeah.
And maybe not all pretty messages.
Yeah.
Whether it's good or bad.
Yeah, most likely bad.
Right. So, okay. So we've got that, and hopefully people understand why that makes sense, right? So what would we recommend them to send a campaign, or who to?
Yeah, so my biggest recommendation to these agents who are thinking about sending the mass text is to really focus in on a list of smaller, more condensed, and more close, I would say, warm people in your database, consisting of your SOI, friends, family, past clients, like we already talked about. And once you have that smaller group, then you'll be able to, like you said, reach them. You have a better relationship with them. It makes more sense to send maybe that Merry Christmas with a picture of your family, even Happy Thanksgiving, what have you. That's what I would recommend that they look and zone in on.
Okay. And then maybe a general campaign?
Yeah, so with, so many holidays coming up, you could send, the individual holidays, or you can send what I think is the best idea is more of a general Happy Holidays campaign, where he kind of addresses, hints at all three, but that way you get to see if someone doesn't celebrate Thanksgiving, Christmas, what have you, you at least get to greet them with a happy holiday message.
Right.
It makes more sense.
You're not overloading them.
Yeah.
And then also, when you're sending to the right people, you're going to get much better or positive responses.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, to your messages. Not all the negative, like, who are you?
Exactly,
Remove me, stuff like
and
that.
you'll be able to start conversations.
And then especially if you put a photo in there. So if you send it out, especially with more of the automated systems, a lot of times you'll have a separate, like with our system works that way, and with every other system, you'll have a separate text message number from that system. And you want to make sure you have your signature in there, and then maybe a photo or something.
Yeah, I always recommend that if you're going to send an automated text message, introduce yourself, or, address your name, address who you're texting from. But for this case, for the holiday one, definitely add a picture, add, family picture, something holiday related.
Okay, so essentially, if you're out there, you're thinking, hey, I want to send out this campaign. I'm going to send it to everybody. Hopefully you see now, look, do not send it to just your dead leads and prospects, or if you don't know who they are, right? That's not a good idea. And we'll ask Steven later. We're going to have Steven on the show. He'll come on. He's going to share some campaigns and some other cool stuff as far as these campaigns go, whether it be, I think he had some kind of pie campaign or something we'll talk about. And then sometimes people want to send campaigns for each holiday. We kind of touched on this a little bit. But if you're sending out Happy Thanksgiving, Happy Holidays, Kwanzaa, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, that might be just maybe a little bit too much.
Yeah, and like we did talk about this earlier, but again, it's something that I recommend. With so many holidays being so near each other, I think making it one general holiday campaign, one general happy holidays, I think is the best verbiage. It kind of limits that spamminess where you're hitting them so many times, unless that's the type of relationship that you have with your clients, where you expect to be reached so often. The general one makes a little more sense to be more hands off.
Okay. Plus that maybe keeps you a little more. It's just not as overwhelming, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and that makes sense. And so, what you could do is just think about doing maybe one general holiday message, maybe mid-December or something like that, and then maybe depending on your list, you might be able to do another one for a Happy New Year.
For a New Year one, yeah. Beginning of the New Year one is always a nice one, but yeah, for the most part, at the end of the year now, it's good to have that general one.
Okay, so the other thing that comes to mind is, aside from sending out emails, aside from sending out text messages or things like that, well, first you're sending out this text. People are going to be responding, "Oh, Merry Christmas to you too." They're gonna, or "Happy Holidays to you too," or "Thanks for checking in," or they, stuff like that. So it rekindles kind of those relationships, or I guess creates some connection there. But there's also another little tool that we like to use, and that's the voicemail drop.
Yeah, that's actually my favorite tool that we have here.
Now, tell us like an idea. Do you have some example of maybe what a nice voicemail might be? I mean, it doesn't have to be exact or
Right.
something like that.
Yeah, so well, for those of you who don't know what the voicemail feature is, it is a tool that we have where essentially it leaves a voicemail message in your contact's voicemail inbox, and so they get that personal touch. They get to hear your voice, and I think it's a really good way of reaching out and creating that conversation or potential conversation. And for the holidays, as we were mentioning something more general, I think it'd be a good idea to record something as "Happy holidays from my family to yours," or "I was just thinking about you, wanted to reach out, see how you were doing. Let me know if you want to chat sometime soon," and something like that you could create a potential conversation and still wish them a happy holiday. I think it's a great way to reach out to them.
Okay, cool. And so, any tips on that?
Yeah, I think I would recommend, as far as keeping the holiday message general, also keeping your message to where you don't necessarily address them by name, but maybe
Okay.
just keep it in a more general sense, so that you could send it out to, use the automation, use the tools, and send it out to the contacts that you want to reach.
Okay. So just really make sure you're not reading or sounding like you're reading off a script.
Yeah, definitely keep it casual, keep it natural.
Okay. So basically, oh hi, this is Wesley. I'm just calling you to see how your family's doing and wanted to wish you guys happy holidays. I know it's maybe been a little bit since we've last connected, and yeah, just hope everything's going well. Maybe we can catch up sometime. If you have any time to call me back, feel free, and I'd love to hear how your family's doing and blah blah blah, something
Yeah.
along those lines. I do encourage putting a call to action in there, getting them to call back
Yeah,
or
definitely.
do something,
Connect.
so that way you can go a little further than just that text messages or just that voicemail,
Right.
and actually get them on the phone and really kind of strengthen that relationship.
Right, and again, that makes sense with the contacts that you will be reaching. If you're focusing on your close SOI, your sphere, then that conversation will make sense to have.
Okay, cool. And another great campaign tool that I like is, and that we'll actually be using ourselves, is the retargeting. Because retargeting, if you're not familiar with it, basically retargeting allows you to basically advertise to your own audience. So just your contact list, or just people who maybe visited your website or your Facebook page or something like that. And it's a much smaller audience. So for like $25, maybe $50 from now to the end of the year, I can essentially kind of duplicate that same holiday message that I'm texting or that I'm emailing or whatever, and I can mirror that messaging and maybe I can even create maybe a video or something that I post on Facebook or whatnot about happy holidays and this, that. Creating that personal touch, maybe have a little video, whatever.
Yeah.
I post it on Facebook, and then I essentially boost that to my targeted my very targeted audience of just my customers or people
Right.
that want to make a page,
Yeah.
things like that.
And this even makes a little more sense with, you know, if you wanted to get to that bigger list, I think this is where you could try to target
Yeah, I
that
guess
people.
you could do that because retargeting is a little less intrusive.
Mhm,
so
yeah.
you can kind of still get that holiday message out to everyone on your list because it's just an ad.
Exactly.
Right.
Can't really spam you as.
Yeah, so you don't run into all those spam issues, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, you can use that to kind of give a little heartfelt message or whatever you want to do. But yeah, it's a great way to get your message, your holiday message out there as well. And then the other thing too is if you're hitting from different points,
Mm-hmm.
well, we talk about how that's less intrusive, obviously. You run that for maybe 45 days. And again, it's very, very inexpensive. So you might start it typically, ideally, you probably want to really start at mid-November and then run it all the way to maybe the end of the first week of January,
Yeah,
something
that'd be
like
a good
that.
time frame.
Or maybe right after New Year's Day, it would end. And then we have postcards. If you have addresses,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a different way to hit them, maybe more personal.
yeah, because a postcard, that could go out maybe a little bit before the text message if you time it right. A happy holidays postcard, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Again, you can include another photo in there. You can even now with postcards, if you wanted, you could send 3 and it wouldn't feel quite as happy Thanksgiving, happy holidays.
Yeah.
New Year, it's just a little bit different because you're not texting, you're not emailing, so it doesn't feel overwhelming.
Right,
Because it's just in mail. And plus, if you send email, they may not have seen one or the other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Plus, everyone likes with their Christmas cards.
Putting them on the fridge.
Yeah, they like to put them up somewhere. So,
Yeah, just make sure it's a good picture.
yeah, the postcard, you might actually get a lot more play with that. Or maybe a greeting card. You could time out greeting cards or send out cards or something like that. Or handwritten.
Yeah,
there's
those are always nice,
handwritten. There's actually a website called Handwritten with a Y that will send out. They're like handwritten cards. So it looks like you hand wrote them, but they're done by robots. You just pick your favorite text or font, and you can actually schedule that. We actually plan to be bringing that system to the LinkU platform next
That
year.
would be a fun,
So that'd be
cool
kind of
tool.
cool.
Yeah.
All right. So the idea is to kind of automate all this. Ideally, if you could create the postcard, the text, the email, the voicemail, the retargeting, that's actually where LinkU could help because we can actually build those campaigns for you for relatively not a lot of money. I think it's like maybe a couple $100 or something. So basically, if you wanted to say, hey, here's what I want to say, or here's my video or whatever, basically you would just let our team know. We can get it all set up. We time it. We set up the campaign. We create the postcard, the retargeting ad. We can guide you through the voicemail, all that. And then basically get it all timed out and set out for the holidays so you don't have to worry about it. So it's kind of a nice thing to have done for you if you don't have the time to do it. So you just, hey, really want this done if you guys can do it for me. Or if you have an assistant or someone who can help do that, maybe they could do it for you. But if you're a client of ours, if you're a LinkU client, then you could basically call our team and say, hey, can you guys get this out for me?
Just hand it over to us.
Yeah, hand it over. And or you can use the tools on your own. Very easy. You could probably do it within an hour or two.
Yeah, it's a super, super easy tools to use.
Exactly. So cool. So we've got the postcard, we've got retargeting, you've got your text message, we've got voicemails, and obviously you could do phone calls.
Yeah, you can go the old school way.
Right? You can always do that. You can, and I usually definitely recommend the phone calls for like your A-list people.
Oh, yeah.
Which you may already be doing, but that's a much smaller list to kind of set aside a time or a couple hours to just reach out and call those people to catch up with them, right?
Yeah, recommended for sure. Yeah, and ultimately, the holidays, to reach out, to create those conversations. We mentioned, that salesy pitch where you could incorporate that in there, but at the end of the day, you want to keep the conversation natural, genuine, and just make sure that, you're being real and you're reaching out to your contacts to wish them a happy holiday season.
Yeah, and then we have those other clients who they'll actually have holiday parties. They'll have Santa, photos with Santa, something like that. Or you could do something more elaborate to bring everyone together, maybe Someone I was talking to, I think she's a loan officer or something like that. They were putting together like a band and like some kind of New Year's fest or something. So those are great ways to bring past clients, families, things like that. Even your network, SOI, and maybe a little bit beyond that to encourage the referrals and bring them all, I guess, together. All right, well, you know what we should do? Let's go ahead and bring Steven on. He is not in studio today, but we do have him on our remote satellite view, aka Zoom. So let's bring Steven on the line. Hey, Steven.
Hey, Steven.
Can you hear us okay? Awesome.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Well, happy Thanksgiving to you as well. And here we're talking about follow-up campaigns for the holidays. A lot of our clients want to do that, and maybe what we're trying to do is just kind of give some direction on the best type of campaigns to run. And I know that you've had a few that you've used and you like to share. Maybe you could share with us.
Yeah, we've had some really good success at Thanksgiving in the past. One of the ways that we give thanks to our past clients and to our community and our sphere of influence is we give away pies at Thanksgiving time from a restaurant called Russ's, very well known for their onion rings and their pies, mainly their baked goods, right? Okay. So what we do is a month in advance is we let everybody know, hey, it's that time of the year, we're giving away pies again. Do you want an apple pie? Do you want a pecan pie? Or do you want a pumpkin pie? So we literally take orders over the next 4 weeks. So a week, like we ordered the pies last week, and then all the people come into our office and pick the pies up. We actually use your system. We upload a CSV file to the system, and it runs out that simple campaign, a text, email, and an automated voicemail drop. This year we've implemented video into it. So we've had about 1,000 pies this year.
Wow, that's a lot of pies.
It is. You know why we do pies?
Why?
Well, in our community, it's very, very family oriented. And when you bring a dessert to a loved one's house, what are they going to ask you?
I don't know.
Where'd you get the pie?
Where'd you get the pie?
A good conversation starter.
Where did you get the pie?
Okay.
Right? And if you get creative about it and you put like your labeling on it, it answers itself. So we give away really, really good pies so it can be kind of a conversation starter. Yeah, we got this from our realtor. Actually, they're going to say the name out loud, right?
Or they might just say, if no one asked, they might say, hey, we got this. Hey, oh my goodness, we got this pie from our agent. How nice for them to give it dropped by or
yeah,
whatever.
Exactly. Well, the campaign that we send out is, hey, it's Thanksgiving time. It's time to order your Thanksgiving pie from ABC Real Estate Company, right?
And it's a free pie, right?
Free pie, and they know it, right? And it's a little card. We send it, like I said, we send an email, a voicemail drop, and a text.
Okay.
In the email, it specifies how it works. And remember, Wes, there's only about a couple hundred people that don't know how it worked because they just bought a house from it. Everybody else knows how it works because we've been doing it for 5-6 years now.
Okay.
Right? So pretty powerful. But it's just getting the message out there.
And, if your clients are all in like an area or like a kind of specific area, I would say because, our agent will sometimes bring by something for the holidays or whatnot. But obviously that only works if everyone's in like a central kind of location. You can kind of make a day of it and maybe drop pies off all day.
Kind of tough when you sell 1,500 homes.
Well, yeah. No, you're not going to do it if you have 1,500 pies. But maybe if you had like 30 or something like that. Just an idea.
Sure, there's going to be a few that'll be delivered, special deliveries, I'm sure.
Yeah, and obviously that goes a little bit further. So maybe your VIP clients or something like that.
Yeah, one step further.
Based on how the database is segmented, right? If your database is good and clean, then you know exactly how to and who to market to, right? What campaign to send out. Now, we have a database of like, I don't know, say call 25,000 dead leads, as a lot of agents like to call them. they're not going to get the pie invite.
Okay, on that, so a lot of our clients, they want to send out, and we were kind of talking about this, Wendy and I think we're all in agreement, but let me ask you, what holiday campaign do you send leads, prospects, dead leads, or just people in your database who you're not sure who they are?
They ain't getting anything.
Okay.
There it is. That's the answer.
That's three of us all in agreement. We all vote not to send anything to people who you don't know if they're not your SOI or past clients. SOI or whatever.
Tell you what they will get is they will get a phone call asking them if they had an opportunity to put a strategy together to find the right house in the neighborhood they're looking for well underneath their financial budget. They will get that kind of call. But why do you want to send something to somebody who doesn't know you? Happy holidays from my family to your family. Or, you know,
like, who is this? Why are you stalking me, weirdo?
or the atheist who, you know, who clicked on your Zillow profile, wanted to see the house, and you send them a Jewish Christmas card, right? It just doesn't make any sense. You're going to do more damage, I think, than you would do any good.
I agree. Yeah, that's what we were actually saying earlier too. Okay, so that sounds cool. So we've got the pie campaign, and then I mean, that's great. Maybe you could do that for Thanksgiving or for Christmas or something like that. Right?
You got to remember, this time of the year for our industry, it does slow down a little bit, right? The holidays, everybody's moving around, and there's three really major holidays in the next 35 days or so.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's, right? I think from a real estate perspective, you don't need to send them something on all three. Just pick one, focus on it. So that leads me into Christmas. You know, before we got on the show, we talked about what we were doing for Christmas this year. We're actually having an Elf on the Shelf contest, which is kind of stupid, but it's popular right now.
Yeah.
It's really about collecting as much data as we possibly can. So we're going to do, the campaign goes like this. Too many elves, not enough shelves. Show us your shelf on the elf, or elf on the shelf, da, 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 da. Post here, and we're going to give away $1,000 in gift cards.
Okay, so is this like a social media campaign?
It's going to be a combination of both, because we're going to take our database.
Uh-huh.
Now, this is where you can actually market your dead leads or your old leads or something.
Right.
Is invite them to a contest.
So you can do that through email, maybe a boosted post to the retargeting audience?
Right? So we're going to have a contest. Show us your elf on the shelf. Our goal is not really to sell a house here to attract a buyer. Our goal is to participate in the community and give back in a little teeny tiny way.
And then there's, is there any maybe special New Year campaign, or is that pretty much what you would send out? Maybe that you'd send out to past clients, SOI, or anything like that you had?
One of the things that we like to do at the end of the year is just basically a year-end in review. What did the real estate market look like this time last year? In West Michigan, the average sales price was $227,000. This year it's $240, like $600. Right? Okay. The crazy thing about this marketplace is five little old years ago, the average sale price was $167. Now it's $240.
Right.
You Californians are like, holy crap, get me 3 of them. But I think you can overdo it too.
Yeah, so you don't want to do campaigns for every holiday, because then it's like...
It's too much.
Yeah, it's like too much. Well, unless maybe they're expecting you, like, it'd be weird if you didn't. Like, that's weird. She didn't say Merry Christmas.
Yeah, but I think that would be more of your A-list, maybe.
Yeah, that would be probably your A-list. Makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like, people, let's be real a minute, right? They're not going to remember you unless there's some form of relationship at all.
Exactly. So it really all just depends on the relationship and whether or not it would be out of the blue or whether it would feel natural or maybe kind of like you've been doing it and they kind of expect to hear from you or
Right.
something.
Yeah, that would make more sense.
If you're leveraging your data in the right manner and you've got everything uploaded into your system so you can retarget it, social media is a great place to just do something that's really quick and simple.
Yeah, exactly.
A little quick video. Hey, I was just thinking about, I'm just so thankful for everybody we've had the opportunity to serve this year for their housing needs. It really goes back to, again, we can't emphasize this enough. Wendy can adhere to this and you can adhere to this quite a bit, is if that database isn't cleaned up, it's really, really hard to have really effective campaigns.
Right.
The campaigns really, when it's email, text, and voicemail drops, it's just really some form of engagement. All I want to do is put a little spur underneath that saddle to get that horse to move a little bit.
Right.
It's not a magic pill or a shiny object to drive you to a commission check. Cheers, by the way.
All right. Yeah. I mean, unless you could do like a Black Friday for a house, like
That'd be
50%
cool, yeah.
off, then you could send that out to your leads. Right?
We got some clients who, have those 400-day-old listings that they should be running that property.
Yeah, Black Friday just reduced $10,000 or see my Black Friday specials. That'd probably be the only thing that you could maybe pull off if you're creative enough to send to your dead leads and stuff. All right, well, thanks a lot, Steven, for joining us in this episode. We'll let you get back to your day, and you'll be back here for the next episode anyway, so...
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving to everybody, and we'll see you soon.
Awesome.
Bye, Steven. Happy Thanksgiving.
All right, bye, Steven. Well, those are some very interesting ideas, very fun. I really like the pie thing and actually think that would work very well.
Yeah, sounds like a very unique idea.
Yep. And maybe we could, let's kind of summarize, I guess, the points here, right? Do not send to...
Cold or dead leads.
Right.
No.
And do not send... So we're not sending to cold dead leads.
No.
And don't do it.
Yeah.
Save your reputation. And then 2, send to past clients.
SOI, friends, family, that group.
Okay. Got it. And if you have a lot of options and you have LinkU, then you have the help you need to get that done. And when I say options, I mean text, postcards, voicemail drops, all that stuff. You have a lot of options to get out there. You can do it on your own. If you have an assistant, you have them do it. Or we can do it. We can help you with that. But in all, we do encourage you to do some kind of holiday.
Right, definitely. Yeah.
Right.
Sure,
So it's
get
not a
that
bad
stuff
idea.
there.
It's just who it's going to. It's a
I
great
understand.
opportunity to reach out and touch someone.
Definitely. I hope it's...
I hope I think that's like a saying. I hope that doesn't get me sued or something like that.
Yeah, I don't think you would say touch someone. Maybe get in touch with someone.
Wasn't that a thing though with like AT&T? Reach out and touch someone. I'm pretty
I
sure.
hope not.
I'm pretty sure it is.
Well, it's not a thing with us.
It might have been before your time.
We'll reach out and get in touch with someone. We'll leave it at that.
Yeah. Well, I'm pretty sure there's a whole campaign, but we'll check into that. But anyway, yeah, reach out and get in touch. Maybe I got it wrong. I don't know.
Yeah, don't touch someone. Just get in touch.
All right, get in touch, whatever. Anyway, that concludes this episode of Follow Up Genius. And I want to thank Wendy for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, taking the time of your busy day. I know you have a lot of appointments, especially during the holidays. Clients are really trying to get a lot of stuff done. And again, this is Wendy from our client success team at LinkU. She helps to get people's campaigns set up and kind of put them on their track and make sure they have success in their follow-up. And that is it. So, hey, for any of the show notes or things like that, or if you like some extra benefits, you can become a free Follow Up Genius member today by simply visiting followupgenius.net. And then you can join there. It's absolutely free. There's like weekly follow-up tips. You get access to the Facebook group where we'll post stuff there. And then also early access to a lot of the recordings, things like that. So anyway, that is all. Happy holidays to everyone out there. Go out there and send out the right campaigns
To the right people.
to the right people. All right. Thanks
Happy
a lot
holidays.
and see you next time. Bye-bye.
Thanks for tuning in to the Follow Up Genius Show. Get the show notes and discover our fantastic bonus member-only content when you become a Follow Up Genius member. Join today free at followupgenius.net. The Follow Up Genius Show is sponsored by LinkU.